Positive impacts, real-world learning, volunteering, and addressing problems. What is this new learning style that we're seeing all over the nation, and is it a good thing? Good evening, everyone. I'm Kristen Wales with Channel 8 Action News Now. Last week in our investigative dive, we talked about dolphins and how they're taking over the world. Tonight, we're going to talk about service learning in the classroom. What is it? Why is it happening? Is it good for our children? Bad for our children? Come now and look with me on tonight's investigative report of Community Service Learning, or service learning, is defined by Vanderbilt University as a form of experiential education where learning occurs through a cycle of action and reflection as students seek to achieve real objectives for the community and deeper understanding and skills for themselves. In simpler terms, service learning is students learning educational standards through tackling real-world issues within the community. This is different from what we know as community service. Community service is focusing on recipients of the service, where service learning is focused on the learning goals for the students and the community service benefits. The benefits for this are numerous. Students gain self-esteem through empowerment, respect, citizenship through engaged community life, academic skills by connecting academic subject matter to life in the community, and career education through students experiencing the world of work. Benefits for teachers are broader, deeper, and richer learning, new roles such as mentor and guide, moving to a more performance-based evaluation, improved staff relations through active learning and teaching, and school and community partnerships are formed. Young people being involved in the community is causing an attitude shift towards our youth. Not to mention schools are receiving more and direct support from the communities at large. After our commercial break, we'll cover how teachers and students are making this work in the classroom. And are there any disadvantages? Stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's continue our discussion on service learning in the classrooms. So how is this working? What is it looking like? What does the research say? According to the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, research is showing that service learning experiences that incorporate the national standards and indicators result in positive academic, civic, and social emotional outcomes. Powerful stuff, guys. To implement this, classrooms are following the IPARD process. This stands for investigation, preparation, action, reflection, demonstration, and evaluation. The process is... Yes? Okay. Wait. Let's go over to our weather reporter, dramatic Terry Weatherman, for a special IPARD process report. All right, that weather's been a wild one. In the investigation aspect of the process, critical thinking is used to identify and analyze community needs and assets and student interests, skills, and talents. In preparation, classes get ready to take action through service by gaining knowledge and skills aligned with academic objectives. Collaboration with community partners is happening to create service plans. In action, students are engaged in meaningful, creative service. The wind that enhances learning and provides guided practice and social responsibility. When students reflect, they're communicating feelings, experiences, and learning before, during, and after the action phase. To demonstrate, students showcase the learning experience, demonstrating insights and outcomes to the community. And finally, in evaluation, students' learning is assessed with the service learning experience to wholly identify successes and areas for improvement. The weather's just wild here. Back to you, Kristen. Thank you, Dramatic Terry Weatherman, for the weather and the IPARD process report. Great stuff. To discuss what this is looking like in the classroom, I had the opportunity to sit down with a local teacher. Let's go now to my interview with Ivana Teach-A-Lot. Mrs. Teach-A-Lot, thank you so much for sitting down with me. I appreciate it. I have a few questions for you if you do not mind. Would you mind describing the process that you go through in a service learning unit in your classroom?
Hi, well, sure. During the investigation process, students should help brainstorm how they can help the world. As the teacher, I'm guiding and facilitating students to find projects that might be interesting for them to work on. Students are using resources like Newsella and CNN Student News, newspapers, and social media to find local and national issues. I also supply students with interest inventories, fact sheets, and philanthropy lessons, and this helps them start to kind of think about what they want to work on and what they do. This is very much a partnering classroom where students are working together with one another and with myself. In preparation, students research ways to address the issue they're interested in working on. Through research, students can conduct online polls and graphics to determine how they can proceed with the action. Classrooms that implement social learning are collaborative classrooms run by partnering teachers. That's me. By this, I mean students are moving and working together during the preparation and research phase. My classroom is set up in a way that students can move around. They can move desks, they can move chairs, they have flexible seating. They can even go out in the hallway if they need to. I'm not lecturing, no. Instead, I work with my students by guiding and facilitating their learning. When students take action, they're directly doing the service. This involves any helping activity. There are direct learning service such as tutoring, service meals, working with patients, helping a refugee family, walking foster dogs, or participating in events at nursing homes. Indirect service such as organizing a fundraising event, working in a resale shop, stocking a food pantry, collecting donations, or planting trees to help the environment. Or advocacy, such as students writing letters to government officials, demonstrating in a picket line, or educating others about possible policy changes. This is my favorite one because it really gets the students involved in what's going on in the world, and we need that, don't we? When students reflect, they're thinking back on their learning by asking themselves questions such as, what did you learn about the service in yourself? How are you thinking differently? Sometimes they complete what, so what, and now what journals, and that's what happened, so what, and then now what can we do? They also do free write journals and exit slips. Then we demonstrate our learning through videos on Nearpod, Seesaw, class websites, and blogs. Students actually can choose how they demonstrate. Some do the videos, and then some do speeches, portfolios, murals, bulletin boards, and the like. The point here is for students to synthesize and summarize their learning.
This seems like very powerful stuff, Mrs. Teach-A-Lot. Can you describe what assessment looks like with something like this? Because I seem to be very confused as we seem to focus on standardized testing and bubbling things in and judging teachers based on that.
Oh, of course. Assessment's very unique because I look toward the community they affect, and I look to the students themselves to create and conduct self-assessments. The rubrics created are not ones that just I create. I use student input and ideas as well, and they know about it ahead of time, so they know exactly what they need to be working towards. Service learning is similar to project-based learning in that there is an academic front-loading, assessment, and reflection, but it's combining with community service. Goals are clearly defined, and issues are personal and direct, like I told you earlier.
Ms. Teach-A-Lot, what would you say the advantages for your students are?
Oh, yeah. Students have so many advantages. Students in a service learning classroom are developing positive habits of mind. That means they're developing a disposition toward behaving intelligently when confronted with problems. Students become valuable members of society who are responsible problem solvers. Lord knows we need that right now. Students learn about their community and their capacity for serving others. They're becoming citizens that are able to make decisions, and so importantly, they have cultural awareness of their community.
Powerful stuff, Mrs. Teach-A-Lot. Would you say there are any disadvantages that your students are seeing or that you are seeing?
No, there are no disadvantages that I can find in my classroom.
I asked Mrs. Teach-A-Lot if there were any disadvantages to this in the classroom, and she responded, no. And after my in-depth investigation, I, Kristen Wales with Channel 8 Action News Now Investigates, can honestly say that no, there aren't any. Students are engaged. They're becoming successful members of society that look toward the greater good instead of themselves. And isn't that what we need in our society right now? Thank you for joining us tonight on Action News Now Investigates. I am Kristen Wales. Good night.